Today I want to talk to you about the most iconic and charismatic animals in Galapagos, the blue-footed booby. They are beautiful, people flock to see them. They've got these amusing, clown-like conical faces and these unbelievably bright blue feet that is just so unusual in the animal kingdom. So why are they amazing? They dive from great heights, they dance when they're courting. You can watch them for hours with whatever they're doing, even just standing still. The blue-footed booby is designed in a way to enable it to hit the water at up to 60 miles an hour and not smash up its body. It's perfectly streamlined from its beak all the way through to its head and the rest of its body. It can hit the water at 60 miles an hour, diving straight down to about 35 feet, and then it turns and it hunts its prey on the way up. If it opens its mouth on the way down, it'll obviously lose its tail. So the idea is to get as much depth as possible with the plunge and then hunt the fish on the way up. In order to avoid damaging their body on impact with the water, they have these cushioned bone at the front of their skull to protect their brain. And eventually when they do die, it's often of blindness just due to plunging all the time, which is their bread and butter, really. It's the way they catch their food. So when they're diving down, sometimes the fish are in huge schools, so they have much better chance of catching them, but a better chance more so when they dive as a flock. So when there's a good school of fish, by diving in a circle around them, the boobies will actually create a bubble net, and it's that bubble net that enables them, makes the fish go into the center, and then they come up in the center and they catch the fish in the center of the circle. So that's the way they feed mainly. So when we do see a big feeding frenzy, it looks like they're diving haphazardly. They do dive all at the same time. It looks like they're in a line from our level, but if you look at it from above, it's actually in a circle. And of course, diving in this way and feeding in this way, they have a lot more chance of catching a fish because the fish are more concentrated and in the center of the net. By the way, the reason they got the name Booby is because of their comical appearance, their clown-like appearance, and sailors used to think they were clowns, so they called them bobos, which is Spanish for clown, and that's the way the booby got its name. Before we continue with today's video, if you're thinking about visiting the Galápagos Islands, then you're in the right place. I'm Paul McFarling, and I've been guiding here since 1992. Over the years, I've worked with many of the leading cruise and tour operators in the Galápagos, helping visitors experience these incredible islands and unique wildlife. Today, I organise unforgettable Galápagos adventures for visitors of all ages, with a particular specialism in student, alumni and educational group tours. Whether you're planning a private trip, a family holiday or a group expedition, I'd love to help you get the most from your Galápagos experience. Check out the link below and get in touch today to start planning your Galápagos adventure. When courting, it's quite an elaborate ceremony, but basically the boobies get together every single breeding season, so they are not monogamous. They have to look for a new partner every time. And the male will often have two females after him or a female with two males after her, depending on who wants who. It's absolute chaos. But as they get close to deciding, the male will often do a lot more of the sky pointing. So sky pointing is putting your back, your wings in the air, tail and beak in the air and letting off a big sigh, or in the case of the females, ah. That's another reason, another way we can tell the difference between them is that the females, they honk and the males whistle. Also, the males have small pupils and the females larger pupils. But in fact, the pupils in the females aren't actually large. It's a discoloration of the iris that gives it the effect of a larger pupil. But that's one of the ways we tell the difference. Also, females are slightly larger than the males and more stockier built. When getting together, the blue-footed booby not only sky points, but shows off his feet. So the feet are raised up and down, one side to the other, and they call that the blue-footed booby dance. And it's often done in order to attract the female or to attract the other party, because the females also do it. Both parties do it. The feet are the things that attract the blue-footed boobies, so the feet are everything. Now, what are blue-footed boobies looking for in the feet? Well, I used to tell people that it was the blueness. So whatever, some like dark blue, some like light blue. And when you look at the blue-footed boobies, they have a great variation, different tones of blue in their feet. All blue, from light blue to beautiful turquoise blue. But since then, studies have been done to show that in fact, it's the darkness that they're looking for. A dark blue shows that you've had a lot of food. Blue-footed boobies eat anchovies and sardines. They fish and they eat as much as they can. So it's the carotenoids in the fish that give them that blue pigmentation in their feet, along with the skin color itself. The skin fibers give them the blue. But the more carotenoid, the more blue their feet will be, the darker blue. So dark blue is an indication of good feeding. Now, when choosing a partner, you want to choose one that feeds well because it shows that they will be able to provide for the offspring. So dark blue is the desired color for all boobies. So that's what they're going for. And they will often show their feet by dancing left to right. And then to emphasize it even more, the male will take off, do a huge circuit around the area and come in for the land to show off and exaggerating the landing with putting his feet forward. And that's often done. And it's quite a great thing to see. The chaos in the breeding is often calmed down once they find their partner. It gets quieter when they are offering twigs and sticks and little stones to each other. So they do this very delicately, picking it up from the ground, and then the male will often bring it over and place it on the foot of the female. And she'll just sometimes just kick it off. But it's a kind of a gift thing rather than a practical value in this in nesting. Sometimes it's incorporated in the nest, but more often than not, it's just for effect. As they get close to breeding, the male will sometimes place it on the foot by going over the head of the female and over the back of the neck, and then placing it slowly down below. And when he does that, he'll often then jump on and take advantage of the breeding, which is what he's doing. So he'll jump on and he'll mate with the female. And they will mate several times during the season before the eggs are laid. And they'll lay one egg. It's small, blue, just slightly smaller than a hen's egg. And they can lay up to 3 eggs in the season. Now, when they do lay the 3 eggs, they'll be a couple of days apart. When they hatch, also a couple of days apart. By having them hatch a couple of days apart, there'll be a distinct advantage for the first one, who'll be much bigger by the time the second one arrives, and so forth for the third one. So there is a definite size difference. Parents don't distribute their food between the chicks. They will allow whichever one wants it to get it. Now they'll all fight for it, but the bigger one will push the smaller ones aside and eat as much as it can, and then once it's full, the second one and then the third one. If there's not enough food to go around, then the third one may go without food much more often and will probably die. And that's the same case for the second one as well. And this is their strategy. It's an opportunistic strategy of breeding. They don't know how good the food is going to be. So they're hoping it will be good. If it's good, then they could actually potentially raise 3 chicks. If it's poor, then at least they've got the one consolation prize that should survive through to adulthood. I used to see huge colonies of boobies in North Timor and on Hispaniola Island, but this was up until 1997. They were pretty much everywhere, sometimes several thousand strong. The colonies were phenomenal. But then after the El Niño of 97-98, the food source, the sardines and the anchovies, just disappeared. And so boobies since then have been trying to make a living, but have often failed because there just hasn't been enough food. So the chicks have been, everything's happened, the chicks have been raised to a certain age where they've had to be left because there just isn't the food, and then the frigates get them. So it's been continuous, and we hope that one day it will get better for the blue-footed boobies in Galapagos. For the time being though, it isn't all bad news for them, because they just displace themselves and go to where the food is good. So a lot of them have been going to southern Peru, where they've been able to find their food source and breed successfully. So this is an important thing. We hope that one day everything will come back to Galapagos and we'll be back to normal again. So when you're in the Galapagos, if you're able to see the feeding frenzy, sometimes I've seen it on the way to the airport in places you just don't expect, and it has been the highlight of the entire holiday, the entire vacation. It's just a phenomenal thing. So I hope that when you get to Galapagos, you enjoy the blue-footed boobies as much as I have.